Hello, guys.
Good evening.
Good to see
Hello,
you. There's
everybody.
Hello.
Andrew in
Welcome.
sunny America.
Sunny
Mm-hmm.
America in the sticks on a
It looks
walking trail.
it looks very autumnal. How do you say it?
Autumnal.
It's
Autumnal.
very
Yes.
fall,
Autumnal,
very
yeah.
fall looking. It is kind of like the Castle Grounds a wee bit. You
Oh,
look at it from here.
he's saying fall. He's an American.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's getting there. It's getting
He's one
there.
of them.
Yeah.
So I thought we would just have a wee catch up, most importantly, but I'm hoping to put a listening party for the our forthcoming album. Years of Young Innocence on Facebook, and I thought we could maybe put this on afterwards just to give people a wee bit of an insight into this long drawn out recording process to get this album out, and just to go down memory lane a bit. So, but yeah, hello, Sean here, Andrew at the bottom, Jason
Hello.
up top left.
Hello.
Where are you at the moment, Jason?
I'm just outside Nottingham, a wee town called Hucknall in an Airbnb, currently on tour with Beat Them, the other band. And
Hmm.
yeah, night off tonight. So yeah.
How's the tour going?
It's excellent. Really good so far. It's just been around the UK, including a wee home gig in Stornoway along the way, which was brilliant.
I'm
And
sorry I couldn't make it. I was on the
oh no,
mainland
what
gigging myself.
gigging yourself, was yours good?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, we had a good turnout, and everybody seemed to go home happy. So didn't
Oh,
snap any
excellent,
strings.
excellent.
So
Yeah,
all good. I had no technical issues.
makes a change.
So, um, what about yourself, Andrew? You'll be missing drumsticks terribly.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I haven't played drums in 3 years. I think it's coming up on four. So my
Wow.
gigging right now consists of the twins and pots and pans and wooden
Hmm.
Yeah,
spoons, toy
I
drum
know.
kits.
I
that's
I
kind
know.
of
miss it
life.
totally. I miss it very much.
That is life, but it's such a shame that you're not playing because it's a
Yeah,
loss
a lot of
to
talent.
drumming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
very nice
So
to see you. Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
you never know once the kiddies get a little bit bigger, and you might be able to rock the Portland scene once again.
Oh, you never
We
know.
should
Yeah.
we should say absent. So this is the core group of people who recorded this album, but missing is Matt Watts, who's down south. He wasn't available tonight, but we'll keep in touch with him and give him a copy of this record. So yeah, so Years of Young Innocence, the album. Who remembers all the way back when? I mean, I wanted to even ask some questions here to kind of jog my memory because I can. It's fuzzy for me, but when did we start writing these, Andrew? Because I believe it was me and you that started putting these together initially, and then somehow Jason became involved. I'll come to you, Jason, and you can try and remember what that was. But like, when can you remember us putting together some of these?
Yeah, I can. I can't tell you the year, but it was near
No.
Christmas. Cold.
Mm-hmm.
It was in a damp garage with cracked windows, dust, spiders everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the very first song that you and me jammed was Prototype B. I think we kind of laid down something for Prototype, and we were both like, "Oh, this is very interesting," because I'd just come off. I was with Stuttgart Traffic, which is like an indie band.
Yeah.
That all kind of faded out. Everyone became adults and did their own thing, and it was just a cool experience to get to jam with my brother. And it was weird because we have completely different music tastes, but it all
Yeah.
kind of just blended very, very well when we
Yeah.
started jamming. And Jason, I don't know when, maybe Jason knows when he came in into
well,
the
I think it
fray.
was through the short-lived cover band Gutterfish, wasn't it?
Yes, that
Initially.
seems to make
Oh,
sense. Yeah.
oh yeah,
Can
Um,
you see that photo there that I'm sharing?
I
oh
can,
yes,
yes, the garage.
yeah, that setup.
This is the garage in Gress where we've made many a noise. And as Andrew says, I remember we were putting these songs together in here. We have very patient neighbours
Yes,
to put up with all the noise, and you can see Matt there has come straight off, straight off the moor probably from park ranger duties. And yeah, so that wasn't yesterday. That was a few hamburgers ago.
Yeah.
so yeah, a lot
What
of
year was it?
hamburgers ago.
What year was it, Sean? Do you remember?
Well, the album was first tracked towards the end of 2014, and I think so. We
Yeah.
did all the core guts of it in that these sessions. I seem to remember two sessions
Hmm.
across 2 days. Did we maybe do an evening? So we had to dedicate a whole evening to drums. I remember that much.
Yeah.
And in fact, I've got some photos of that you can talk about, Andrew, because you went through a pretty in-depth engineering course with Paul Matheson for that.
Oh,
So let me see if I can find some of the pictures to show you because this it's frightening how young you look in some of these.
I know.
Um, right, let me just share my screen. And then if I go for everyone see that?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh boy. There's that Pearl Exotic kit. Yeah, I remember there was a whole day spent getting the kit set up, everything mic'd up, using Paul Matheson's Pearl Exotic. It's a lovely finish on it. But it was really cool being with Paul because it's really the first recording experience where I was able to sit down hands on with someone to get the drum sound I wanted. Um, he was open to loads of ideas. Of course, there were certain symbols I wanted to use which I couldn't use, but
Mm-hmm.
probably for very right reasons. Um, and then
Look,
it was a hybrid. Oh
look
my
at the amount
goodness,
of microphones on the snare.
crazy! Yeah, we've got a really good drum sound, and the only thing that's different apart with that kit there is that the only part I took from Gress was my floor tom, and
That's
Sean can
right.
probably vouch for this. Whenever we would jam in the garage in Gress, we always wanted the toms to sound mega, especially the floor tom. It'd be dampened, it'd be so loose. And Paul loved it. I remember Paul said, "Look, we're getting your
Yeah,
Mapex floor tom. It's coming
yeah.
up, and we'll use the rest of the kit. You can use your cymbals, you can't use this." So it
Hmm.
was a very inclusive process, and it kind of felt like, you know, Paul was wanting the best sound like I was. So it was a
Well,
very enjoyable process going through all that.
well, I think, having mixed a lot of this, most of this album, there's a lot of floor tom in it.
Yes.
And it's a nice sounding floor tom recording that we got. Is that you rocking the Circa Survive t-shirt as well?
That goes back to the conflicting music styles. I'd probably be the only person on that island wearing a Circa Survive t-shirt.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
So this was basically the use of the drums were isolated in a garage of their own, and the rest of us were all in little booths,
yeah,
um, in the studio next door. But everybody obviously was connected via headphones, and we all had our own little mixing desks, just as you'd expect. But yeah, look how young you look in some of these.
I know it's crazy. It was really cool. So that you can see next to me, there's a little mixing console there. That was for
Yeah.
all of the other rooms, so everyone was in their own room. It was kind of like a horror movie when you'd see the footage. It was like what 120p quality, and you'd just see Matt
Aye.
standing in the corner, Jason barely fitting in the room because he's so tall.
Look at this photo.
Oh wow,
Look at
there's that
Paul.
really.
I don't know if that's leaning back in exhaustion or he's fed up with us.
You know what? I think my overriding memory of those first sessions was the heat.
Oh
Oh,
yes.
It was a bizarre thing, an unusual thing, a Lewis heat wave.
Yes,
And
and to be honest, this picture here sums it up because if you remember, so this must have been day three. So day one was the drum line checks.
yeah,
Day two, we went through and recorded a pile of the songs on a baking hot day.
yeah,
And then remember the next day we came in and Paul had actually bored a hole into the side of the studio, remember, and put
yeah,
this extractor in just for us.
yeah,
Um, just reactive, to the previous day. So yeah, not only an engineer but hospitality expert as well.
yeah.
And that you can see Paul there. He's probably just going into the drum checks with a fine eye to see that there's no clipping, no clicks. So basically, everything you're seeing in the kind of middle top of that picture is your compressors and your valve compressors, where each microphone for the drum kit has been placed in to try and squeeze any noises popping. But here's another oldie.
Oh yeah, remember that gig? Yeah,
Um, That is a gig in the Woodlands.
Was that with the Broken Ravens
I
or
think
something?
so. I think so.
Yeah.
So that will be us kind of playing in some of the songs that we later record, and that's me borrowing your telly, I think, Jason.
Yes. I can't remember why, but
I don't
yeah.
know. I must have had a broken guitar or something. Um, oh, that
I,
looks like
I know that whoever it was, that's DC's SJC custom drum kit, which is amazing. It's a lovely sounding kit. So I'm not too sure who we were supporting,
Oh,
but DC would have been playing drums. I know that
right.
much.
Okay.
I think there was a few bands on, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
I love how
Yeah.
Matt just looks like he's come off the croft again.
Yes.
Straight into the woodland center.
Absolutely. But
So if you're
and
watching,
there's
Matt, we love you, by the way. Miss you.
oh
Yeah.
yes, sorry, we're asking for you, Matt. Here's us. I believe that's sound Stramash, early
Yes.
Stramash.
Our first Dramash. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's Jason in the who are playing
Wow.
on the ground. Then yeah, look
Yeah.
how the festival has grown since then.
Kind of rock and roll you look, Sean, with a leather jacket on, whatever the heck that is.
Yeah. Now, let's put on. Actually, you can tell us a wee bit about this, Jason, because this was intended. Um, Let me just make sure that are you getting this through on your screen? Is that coming
Yes.
through?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll let it play first, and then
Young
Yes. Yeah. And I think I'm trying to remember what it was for. Was it an intro for Stramash
yeah.
originally? Yeah. And I think, yeah, yeah. I think you'd said to me, let's just put something together in the mighty Portrona Studios, my
The cupboard.
cupboard in my kitchen. And and it was yeah, it was great fun. I think I don't know if I'd put some stuff down before you came down or we just did it when you came down. I can't quite remember, but
I think
just
you must have figured out the
yeah.
key because the plan was that it was going to blend into Phoenix, which is also the second track on the album. So when we were going to play it live, we wanted the key to blend into Phoenix.
Yes,
So
yes,
you would have
yeah,
had to have sussed that out because I wouldn't have had
yeah,
a
yeah. I think I
clue.
did with some atmospheric EBOs and
And
stuff
I
like
think
that. No,
I specifically remember saying, "Oh, you've got to do a guitar piece like Run Like Hell." Remember
oh yeah, the
that the doom, doo, 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 doo.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
Chugging.
really,
Yeah.
really chuffed how that came out. But and I obviously I got the stems from you and took it in home and
yeah,
the voices you're now hearing. So that's me at the front at the start with my grandfather. and then at the very end it's Andrew crying as a child.
Oh wow,
So I
that's
thought that
really
would
nice.
tie quite well into the subject of the album and stuff. So
Oh, that's
we're
amazing.
both
How did
on
you have
it.
that? How did you have that
Well,
recording?
basically, a
Okay.
few years ago, a few months ago, I took a VHS from 1994 and digitized it. So I
Ah,
ripped the audio out of it and cleaned it up. And I thought, well, actually, I've got this. I should take some of the audio out of it and put it into. So it's on the intro now. So that's obviously the opening track that you'll hear. So yeah, nice wee. I like it when there's a wee personal touch. These things.
yeah, it's really nice. And Andrew, you probably didn't see this, but I think we used it at that Stramash. I don't
Yeah,
know if anyone even noticed that particular occasion, but we also used it in an Antler gig we did
yeah,
more recently with an amazing video by Chris,
yeah,
uh, which is just, have you seen it at all?
I think I was tuned in watching live. I think I was at the
Aye.
live stream concert. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think there was some issues with the audio on that live stream, but you'd have seen the video, and that's fantastic. Really cool.
He did a brilliant. So we'll try and get that up online as well. So Slancha, what are you on the Red? This is us eating into your valuable night off pub time, isn't it?
Not at all. I've got my wine here. I'm quite happy.
hmm So we talked a wee
I've
bit
yet
about
to-
putting these songs together in a garage, which is kind of the old school way to do it, I guess,
Yeah.
because there's not really rehearsal spaces, etc. up here. So put it together in a garage. So we were in a tribute, not tribute band, but a covers band. I'd kind of known Jason for years through fishing. And I think the conversation just went to, well, we should do some jamming sometime. And obviously the
Yeah.
covers turned into original, I suspect. And that's kind of where it came from.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can't, yeah, that's exactly what it was. Just work up a
So,
few songs and yeah, it was really,
yeah. And then
from
it
the
all,
off, it was really cool. I
hmm
mean, always an amazing thing to sort of watch a song go from, what you
yeah,
bring in to what it ends up as.
to a
It's,
garage. Yeah, absolutely. And for
yeah.
me, this was a very collaborative record because the stuff I'd done before, and I've kind of said this to Andrew and people before, was very much play along with me, coming
Mhm.
to a rehearsal space or whatever with acoustic songs written, structured. This was
Yeah.
just whatever we felt like, basically. And for me, there was a lot. I've primarily doing electric guitar on this record, which for me was coming right out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things, if people listen to this and they have the previous stuff in mind, there's some really kind of brash moments. There's some songs there that are touching metal, I would say,
Yeah.
at times. There's wee fleeting glimpses. I mean, you've still got the kind of emotive, kind of, singer-songwriter kind of vibes throughout it, and it's got some ambience to it, but there's some bits there that be like, oh, I'm hearing all kinds of, because I'm a big Pearl Jam fan. I love The Cure,
Mm.
Biffy Clyro. I like some of that abstract guitar playing, and of course Andrew mentioned his own. He's got all kinds of different. I mean,
Yeah.
Tool comes to mind for Andrew, and Deftones, and
Yeah, it's a very progressive sounding record, and I think with myself and Matt, I remember uh, he was a huge Rush fan, and I'd never
mm,
listened to Rush before, but I know how complex Neil Peart was. Rest his
mm,
soul, one of the best drummers of all time. And I like kind of similar stuff like A Perfect Circle and Tool, where there's very intricate time pieces and it gets math rock at times. And I like that, at least in our sound. I like that there's parts that take you on twists that you don't expect. It's not linear. There's always a
mm,
weird time signature or something that catches you off guard in a positive way.
yeah,
So there was that element for sure. And I know, Jason, you like some similar bands.
Oh, absolutely.
yeah,
Big rock fan as
Yeah.
well, and a big progressive rock fan and rock generally as well as other stuff. But yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
And me and Jason always had the Pink Floyd connection, and
Oh, yeah.
there's
Mhm.
we like Steven Wilson. There's similar, it's funny how everybody's got these strands of
I
things
love
that they like.
Porcupine Tree. We all
Yeah,
like Steve Wilson.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, so obviously Jason entered the fray and he's been there ever since. One of the things I need to say about Jason, and I've told him this umpteen times, is you always have to have a phone recording whenever Jason comes into a jamming session, because more often than not, the first thing that you'll do, um, thank goodness I record most of it, because I'll then go back, see, you need to do this thing you did. And then, that turns out most of the time to be what goes on the songs. So
No, it was a
there's a
valuable
lot.
lesson because initially you were like, do that thing again. Like,
Yeah,
what thing?
yeah,
That thing you
exactly.
played
So
there.
then it's like we're going to record everything with phones, massive
Yeah.
files of blackened video, and then just zooming in on little bits of all. But there's loads. I mean, there's so much good guitar stuff on this record, by yourself. It's just
That was
the
fun. I
some
mean,
of the solos are incredible on this album.
Oh
But
yeah.
not just some of the swells. There's lovely volume swells in some of the songs. Slide guitar playing on it as a swell in Phoenix.
yeah.
It shows your versatility quite well. I think this record.
And it's also, I think that's kind of the old Malcolm Jones influence as well, the swells and slide and stuff
Yeah,
like that. He always has been a big influence. So yeah.
absolutely. So we didn't really keep. So basically, we kept the drums and the bass from all
Yeah.
of the sessions across 2 days, but I think we pretty much overdubbed everything else. Apart from "Keep Me in Your Heart," which has the original scrap vocal take on it from
Oh,
recording, which was pretty
oh,
cool trivia point. So when you hear "Keep Me in Your Heart," that vocal was done when we recorded it basically in the booth. Because when I isolate my vocal, you can hear me strumming the electric underneath it.
oh, excellent.
So that's the only one that kind of stayed, but everything else, me and Jason kind of went in. We set up an amp. In fact, I've got some photos here to show you of our kind of what we kind of did in the setup. Um, in fact, here is check out this old pedal board.
Here, here we are.
Some
Oh
horrible
boy.
pedals on there that I've never ever used again. Um, there's that's probably you recording me, I would think,
Yeah, I think so.
having the patience. And this was the other good thing because obviously Jason already had Cubase experience from home recording and with Dan Ringles. Um, so we all kind of got hands on it, learning the system and stuff, which was really good of Paul to give us the time and space to do that. So that'll be you keeping me right with some recordings. Um, and you must have been doing an overdub yourself, or probably doing one of my parts that I couldn't play properly.
I'm
More,
trying to work. Yeah,
more
it's
likely. Um, that's the main kind of recording pod where the amps would go to isolate them and we would record them, but also I would do the vocals in there, so you can see the two monitors would help me kind of stop, push record, delete, do it again, that kind of thing. So a lot of time spent in there going over these. This is one of the garage recordings of, I think it's
Phoenix.
Phoenix, is it?
It is Phoenix, yeah. And people might not recognize this because that little section has changed actually
Yeah,
a lot.
and this is exactly what we're talking about. Blackened videos with the cameras face down.
Yeah.
Zoom is telling me I have 9 minutes remaining.
That was great.
Yeah, so let's have a wee look here. Can everyone see that?
You can, yeah.
Yes.
There's the album cover, which is just for knowledge. That's little Evie's hands when she was born on mine, which I thought worked really well with the title. And you've got your track listing to the right. So, any favorites? What's your favorite there, Jason?
I love them all. I think they're all great, but tonight I will be bulletproof. I've always had a soft spot for. I think it's just
Right.
a fantastic song.
It's quite a
Um,
woody song. It's
yeah.
compared to some of the others. It's quite. I think it was
Yes, because it was, if I
an
remember rightly,
acoustic
it was
bass.
acoustic bass and brushes, basically, wasn't it?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. And
Um,
Jason's
And
lovely swells as well
yep.
on
yeah,
Yep.
guitar.
yeah. And
Absolutely.
Shimmer, I absolutely love. I mean, I think that's a great song. That's one we've played a lot live over the years,
Yeah, yeah,
and that's brilliant. And there's so much good stuff in there. And as people, well, I think people are hearing now, Infinity, in its
yes.
finished form is just magnificent.
It's a ballad, really, you know.
Yeah,
And Neil Johnston did some amazing strings for that piece of
yeah.
music, which really lifted it. Favorites for you, Andrew?
Oh, you. I have a soft spot for the first single, Parachute. It's
Oh
one that we
yes,
didn't play live very often. I really
yeah,
like that song. Uh, Prototype B is probably always going to be my favorite because it's the first song we kind of scratched together.
There's some
Um,
nice hat work on that song as well.
Mm,
yeah, it's a very
Hmm.
intricate piece, that one. It was fun to do, and I love Shimmer. Shimmer's very intricate as well. We took a while to get that one nailed, I think, and I love the progression into the fast bridge at the end.
Yeah,
Um, but I also love the intro, All Your Years. I think it's got that perfect kind of guitar swelling, and it, it's got a creepy vibe to it in a good way.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
It's quite haunting. So
I'm quite a fan of album intro tracks, as you can probably
yeah,
yeah.
tell. Pink Floyd
And
always did it really well.
I think it's
Um,
brilliant you put it in because music today, the way it's consumed, and I was reading
yeah,
about this somewhere, that now basically anyone that puts a song out, it has to grab the listener with the hook, with the chorus
yes,
within 20 seconds, or
I
it's,
know.
and I think this format, a proper album with a proper intro, and I think it's brilliant.
Well, that's it. And to me, it wasn't obvious at the start, but having mixed through them now, Greyland's Part Two is perfect ending. It's
Yeah,
really
oh yeah,
raw. It's a good way to kind of close it all off after the softness of Infinity, and then we're back into the one of the riffs. This for me, this was a big first, like writing riffs. Like the riff
yeah,
at the end of Greylands, the riffs and Can't Exist. I mean, if people
yeah,
are who quite like the earlier stuff are going to turn on and hear Can't Exist, I think they're in for a bit of a fright, if I'm honest.
yeah.
But that's good. I mean, I think it's good to kind of
absolutely.
stretch our wings a wee bit. I've
Mm.
got just very quickly because we only got about 6 minutes. I found the original. Where is it now? Um,
Before you do, Sean, what are your favorite songs off the album? Would you have a
oh,
favorite?
it's tough because I've spent so long with these songs over the last
Yeah,
few months
yeah,
that at times I was really pleased with how Infinity came out. So I've got a lot of time for that song at the moment. But I really like Dummies. I like Dummies Guide to Living because it's
yeah,
it's quite a lyrically strong song. And some real nods to Dire Straits on that one. In fact, when I was mixing it, I noticed, and I don't know if you remember this, Jason, but we called the tracks Nuff 1, Nuff 2, Nuff
yes.
3. Yeah. So if it wasn't any, more obvious, but yeah, no, I'm dead pleased. I mean, I think it's one of these things. It's been floating about for so long, and it's been a steep learning curve to try and get this out. But yeah, I think there's some good stuff in there. Absolutely, Prototype B I really like. I think it's
Yeah,
different. It's
great
very
song.
different. And
Matt's bass at the end of that, I'll never forget when he
yes,
first did that. I
yeah.
was like, wow, yeah,
That's really his moment to shine on that one,
yeah.
for sure. And he kind of carries him and Andrew carry the end part of that song. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Your
so
What you were looking for something?
your vocals and Keep Me in Your Heart are fantastic as well, Sean. I think that's one of
well,
your best
that's
vocal
that's the one
backings.
I'm pleased of because it was all done in the original.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I also found the original demo of Dummies from an old computer.
Oh,
Whoa.
Slightly slower, I think,
Yeah.
and obviously tap strumming.
Stack it in boxes, 2.2. All the things in your heart, things that will hurt you. Turn them over, sweep them under the
Gives you an
rug.
idea of how these songs grow into what they
Yeah.
later become.
And we'll show you how to show you how to be. I love.
Mucking about with different effects in
Brilliant.
GarageBand, I'm sure.
Aye.
Here's a quick clip of Paul listening to one of Andrew's drum takes.
No, that'll be him checking levels. That's just me jamming along.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, so he's probably checking mic level.
He looks deep in concentration anyway, that's for sure. Well, so 3 minutes left, guys.
Oh, brilliant. Well,
This was the night before Matt left.
yeah.
So a good photo to end on there. So this is the gang who recorded the album. Just I think we had a wee Chinese or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but
There wasn't a dry eye in sight.
yeah, good guy.
Really good guy, and it was a real sort
A
of
pleasure.
pleasure playing with that lineup. I mean, as you know, Andrew, Fergie took over when Matt left, and you and Fergie were a absolutely formidable rhythm section as well.
Oh,
And
aye.
now Kyle's come in, and you know Kyle, he's a
Steady
great
Eddie.
drummer, absolutely
Yeah.
great drummer as well. So it's but there was definitely some real chemistry in that original lineup, and say Sean with your strange open tunings and weird partial cathode things, and Andrew and Matt with their kind of never anything straight. I just
No.
thought it was yeah,
No.
fantastic.
4/4 is not allowed, you know.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, so this I hope everyone enjoys it. This is a really good collection of songs, hopefully, from that group of people, and it's going to be available obviously on all digital platforms. You can stream it on Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon. There's hundreds of them now, so I'll never name them all, but you can also get it directly from Bandcamp, which means the money goes kind of pretty much most of it back to us, which will in turn pay for we actually have another album recorded. Isn't that right, guys?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So and that album, yeah, and that album is called Edge of the Storm. So that is where any funds that come through will go towards getting that album out. So that album definitely won't take as long as this one did to get out. And it's another chapter of the band. So yeah, we'll love to hear what everyone thinks after this video, after the listening party, and yeah, we hope you enjoyed, and thank you to you two for
Oh man, absolute
interrupting
pleasure. I hope everyone enjoys it
interrupting you.
as much as we enjoyed doing it, and listening.
Absolutely.
I think just very quickly, listening back to it, when you said your finished mixes through, because it's been a long process, it was almost like hearing it again hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Fantastic.
Which is good. It's good. I'm glad that you had that,
Yeah.
chance to. So yeah, so that is us less than a minute. So thank you very much, guys, and thank you, Facebook,
Pub time.
who opt to watch it. Enjoy the pub. Good luck with your gig tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
I'll speak to you later, Andrew. Okay.
Yeah,
All
good to
right.
see you.
Cheers.